Mark Falade.
Mr. Malloy, how are you, sir?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Good. Yes, it's another gun
It's okay.
situation, you know, I know some people are probably tired of just beating the horse.
No.
But you quote 90% being in favor of background checks.
Yes.
I understand that that's based on a Q poll that was done in the early 2013, where approximately somewhere between 1,100 and 1,772 people were polled.
It's actually based on a national poll. That same poll showed that 55% of NRA members agreed with universal background checks.
All right, I don't have a problem with universal background
Okay.
checks. I understand that background checks were already in place prior to all this, and a lot of people did not understand that at the time. I have a poll taken by PBS online where only one vote per IPS was allowed, IPS address was allowed. And these people, 46,000 respondents, over 46,000 respondents, 93% of which voted for leave gun laws as they are. Okay, I actually have that. I wrote it down because my printer crapped out today, so hopefully you guys can read my scratches.
Not bad.
All right, second, constituents and what our legislators did when they voted for this. I was there that day, which actually I was surprised to find out was today, 1 year ago. I was there at the Capitol building. I listened to in excess of 200 people chanting, "Just say no," at the time the senators took the floor for the vote. I heard one voice saying yes in between the chants. Okay? So when you tell me that your legislators were doing what their constituents were in favor of, I have to contend that that is not correct. I don't see that that was the case. I personally believe they were simply towing the party line, and that's about it. All right. Again, now you're touting all these new crime is down, Connecticut is safer. You just relayed a lot of statistics. You know, I have to wonder, you know, you have to understand that in the last year, 65,000 new permits were issued. Is that correct? Somewhere in that area?
I don't have the numbers.
But that is essentially correct. And it's somewhere in the neighborhood of 65,000 new pistol permits. I have to wonder, isn't the fact that so many more guns in the hands of law-abiding citizens have something to do with the lower crime rate that you're talking about right now?
I know it didn't work the year before.
What didn't work the year before?
The idea that you have X number of guns in the state.
You just-
And the reality is, sir, that we have a fundamental disagreement.
Well, this is
about
true. We
this.
do have a fundamental
And that's
disagreement.
okay. I mean, I respect your right to have your say and express it. And that's why I'm more than happy to stand here and you know, talk about these issues. But I think there's a distinct difference. Crime has gone down substantially. I gave
This year, let's see what the statistics say next year.
I hope that it's going to go down
So
further.
do I.
There we go.
You know,
So
well, is it because of your laws,
So-
or because citizens are taking their personal safety into their own hands?
You know, listen, whatever works, works. No one has said you can't have a gun permit. No one has ever said that in the state of Connecticut. You've been required to have a gun permit for decades in the state of Connecticut.
Absolutely. And
So that's not, but that's
every
not
weapon I
something,
own, I passed a background check on.
and that's not something that's changed.
No, and you know what, we've restricted the ability to buy certain weapons and certain capacity magazines.
Yes.
Not you per se, but the legislation as a whole.
And that's true. So that is a fundamental disagreement between us. I think the majority of citizens of the state of Connecticut do not believe that assault weapons should be sold in the state. They acted through their elected. They acted through their elected legislators.
Well,
And
I
those
think the
legislators.
elected legislators
Just one
did
second.
what the party line wanted them to do, not what the constituents wanted
And
them
the
to
party
do.
line.
Let me get to.
No, wait a minute. You
Okay.
can't keep saying things and not give me an opportunity to respond. 'Cause
Well,
you've now
okay.
twice talked about party line.
Well, it's
That bill was supported by Republicans and Democrats.
not all.
And it was negotiated of the House and by the Republican leader of the Senate. So when you keep saying party line, it's almost as if that's to convince people that everybody who's something other than a Democrat agrees with you. That package could not have come together without Republican leadership. That's who put it forward. That's how it got done. Now, people might want to backtrack or pretend they didn't participate in that discussion, but the reality is Republican votes were up on the board. Not all Republican votes, not all Democratic votes. That's what a republic is. We elect people and send them to the legislature to represent us. And then we ask that they do their best to represent us. And that's what happened in Connecticut. And you still have your gun. And you still have your gun.
I don't think you should be able to take this away from me. I have not asked a question yet.
Go ahead, you have a question?
I do have a question. One more comment, and then the question is, all right, I work at a gun range. In the past 6 years, I've seen new gun owners, more new gun owners than I've seen in the past 5, 6 years prior to that.
Sure.
Those gun owners are almost equivocally, I asked them, why did you get a permit? Why now at your age did you decide to get a permit and a gun? Their comment, because I thought I'd better before I couldn't anymore. My question is, do you think that's an acceptable reason for people to feel that they should go out and purchase a firearm and get a permit?
I think as long as people are living by the law, then that's fine.
That's not an answer to my question.
Well, I think it is. I think that...
I'm asking you, do you feel that someone should be, an American citizen should feel that I had better go out and get a permit and a gun before my government restricts me from being able to do so?
If you're talking about the ownership and purchase after a certain date of an assault weapon,
I'm not.
that is... Well,
This is prior. I've seen people coming in, new gun owners have been coming into my range since 2006, and almost without fail, the reason they have wanted to get a gun was because because I figured I can't anymore.
Okay. Well, then, thank you very much.
Governor, the best...
You've had enough.